Hello everyone, I wanted to show you guys my process on how I do block brows on myself and on my models. This is a long process, so patience and practice is definitely needed. I'm going to be taking some alcohol and a cotton round and rubbing it into my brows. That way I can remove all of the excess oils, any old makeup, or any residue that I may have in my brow. That way it's a clean slate for the glue. I'll be taking Elmer's disappearing glue and a spoolie, rubbing it through my brows very thoroughly. That way, when it comes to the process of applying concealer and powder and things like that, there won't be any brow hairs sticking up at the end. I'm using a spoolie with a bit of a rough hand, that way I can really get into those brows and lay them down. I am going up and out with my brows. I know some artists, they like to just go straight up, but for myself and the way my brows go, they go up and out. I'm using the end of the spoolie, that way I can disperse all of the brows that clump together. I'm taking that same cotton round with more alcohol on it and rubbing outside of my brows. I want to get rid of any of the excess glue, that way it doesn't interfere with the foundation. Now it's time to dry those brows. We want to be sure the brow is completely dry before applying the next round. Now go ahead and repeat the process, but this time we are not going to brush through with the spoolie. We're just going to be applying the glue and then drying it, we're going to be cleaning it up and then going ahead and drying it. For my everyday routine, I like to shave my brows. I do not wax or pluck or anything. So I noticed that some of the brow hairs are growing in, so I just wanted to go back in, clean those up with a tiny razor. Once I felt like I shaved all of that new growth in, I'm going to be taking the Elmer's glue once again and applying it to my brows. But this time I'm just focusing on my brow. I'm not going to be bringing it up past onto my forehead or below onto my eyelid. Then I will go ahead and dry again and apply once more. Here I'm turning my head side to side just to see if any brow hairs are sticking up. You also want to do this with your models, and then go back in with the glue stick and apply right over those areas if you see any brow hairs that are sticking up. Now it's time for the powder. This is Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Powder. I'm going to be taking a shade that's just a bit darker than my natural skin color. That way I can almost correct my brow color with the powder, and that way I don't have to apply as much makeup. I went ahead and let that bake for just about a minute or so. Now I'm taking a fluffy brush and brushing that right off. Next, I'm taking a color corrector. I'll be using a burnt orange kind of color, almost matches my hair, just to correct the darker brown shades that you can see popping through. And on your models, you want to be sure to use this orange color, but something that would work with their skin tone. I'll be setting with that dark powder once again. Alright, after that's done baking, well, again, I'm going to brush it off with a big fluffy brush. Now I'm going to be taking another color corrector, but this time a shade that's going to highlight that brow area. That's just my personal preference because the look that I'm doing afterwards, it calls for a higher looking brow bone. Then I'm going to be taking the same light powder and applying it, let it bake. Let's do some skincare next. That way we can be prepped and ready for the foundation that is coming. We're going to go ahead and wipe off that powder. Apply your foundation. This is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in shade 6.5. I went ahead and just applied it right over my brow. I'm using almost like a flicking motion when I'm applying this foundation with this brush. That's, you'll see like when I blend it out. That way it can blend seamlessly into my skin and it's not too heavy. To blend it in even further, I'll be taking a damp beauty blender and blending that out, applying the powder one more time to the brows just to set those in. Next, I'm going to highlight just as I would normally. I do like a more of a coverage underneath my eyes, so I like to apply a lot of concealer. Then I'm going to be bringing it up onto my eye. Went ahead and took my beauty blender, blending that out. Then I'm going to grab a small blending brush and I'll be going in into the corners and onto the edges where you can see those harsh lines and kind of just buffing that out. I'm also applying more concealer and then I'll be buffing it out once more. Then I'll take some on my finger and apply it, and just so I could blend in that concealer onto my forehead, because again, for this look that I'll be doing next in my next video you'll be seeing soon, it calls for like a higher arched brow bone. Now I'm just going to contour like normal. This is my Fenty Beauty Matchsticks. I'll be taking some under my nose, onto my cheeks, and then blending it out with the beauty blender. Let's go ahead and finish my face. I'm using Rare Beauty blush and I'm applying it with my finger just lightly. I'm kind of working with the color. I don't want to apply too much at first. I'll be blending this out with my beauty blender, and if I like the look, I'll probably stop here. Now I'm just finishing up with my lip liner, and there we have it. We have the finished block brows look. I hope you guys liked this video and I can't wait to see you guys try it on yourself. Please let me know in the comments and give it a thumbs up. Thanks.